أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي لم يزل عليما حكيما، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين. Let's continue inshallah with our poetry, and we're gonna skip a lot today, and we're gonna go fast on some things that it's not gonna be relevant to a lot of people, especially if you don't have Arabic grammar studied. So we're gonna run through it quickly, inshallah. If you didn't understand it or you have a hard time understanding it, it's completely fine, inshallah, because it's related to grammar, not really related to the legal max itself. So we are at line. Anybody? We took that last time. He said, والخطأ والإكراه والنسيان أسقطه معبودنا الرحمن. He said mistakes. No, he said الخطأ mistakes, إكراه force, نسيان forgetfulness, أسقطه معبودنا الرحمن, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not pardon a person by it, and Allah would forgive it. And we already said these three things are from the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. قال لكن مع الإتلاف يثبت البدل. لكن مع الإتلاف يثبت البدل. He said al-itlaf, when you, however, with it, meaning the act, spoiling the damage is affirmed, there is no sin upon the person, but you still have to pay it off. He already said, if you by mistake took someone's car and you hit it, then you have to fix it for him. If someone is asleep مثلا in your room, your roommate, okay, and you're sleeping on bed, then you're among those people, mashallah, you move a lot when you sleep, you fell off bed on his laptop, you break his laptop. That's out of what? Huh? Which one? Forgetfulness or mistake or force? Mistake. You fall about mistake. That mistake you're not responsible of, in a sense of what? No blame, no sin, alhamdulillah, but you're still responsible of what? The damage, paying the damage, okay? Force is the only one that the scholars differ on. If a person is forced to do something, to cause damage or to cause harm, should he pay for it or not? And mainly if you are forced to do damage, then the person who forced you should be the one taking care of that damage, because you are like a tool in his hand when he forced you. So he's the one who has to pay for that damage, unless they can't find the person. But that's a different story among the scholars. That's what they mean, and by that I won't go any longer, but let's move on. ومن مسائل الأحكام في التبع يثبت لا إذا استقل فوقع. This one is a little complicated. And from the issues that cannot stand alone, then it shares the same ruling of what it follows. So what is that saying is there's a lot of things that if it's by itself, it will be haram. But if it's followed, or if it follows something else, then it's not haram no more. يعني مثلا, are we allowed to eat or drink blood? No? Never heard that in my life. But we are only allowed to eat two types of blood, which is liver and spleen. Al-Kabid wal-Tuhal, that's different. Liver is all blood, but we're allowed to eat it. Okay? But I'm talking about blood that's in the meat, that's in the veins of an animal, that is permissible to eat. Are we allowed to eat it or drink it? لا. دما مسفوحا أو لحم خنزير. We're not allowed to. When you go to a store, forget which store right now, you go to a restaurant, they cook a steak for you. Some of you guys like it medium well or even rare. I don't know how you eat it, but that's your problem, no problem. I like it well done that I can't see. But sometimes when you get it rare or medium, you still see what? Blood. So is that blood now permissible to eat? Yes, because it's a following. It follows. It's part of the thing, not by itself. So when it follows something, then it takes the rules of that. Okay, it's a little bit and It's following. But by itself, if somebody gets you a cup of blood from a goat that they slaughter, you cannot drink it. It's haram. So how could you eat the meat that has blood? It's still blood in the veins of an animal that is in the meat. هذا يقولون ايش؟ ما لا يثبت. يعني some of the ulama, they say التابع تابع. Okay, whatever you follow or whatever follows or whatever you have follows the same ruling of what it follows. So you could, مثلا, let's be relevant to something that is more clear here. Are we allowed to eat worms? By itself, no. You know, السوس, الدود هذا الصغير, هذا little thing, we're not allowed to. Like, what if somebody ate dates and it has little worms? That's fine. إنه هذا يتبع الإيه؟ هذا تابع الآن. It's okay to eat it in that case. Like, dates sometimes have these little worms, very small. It's very hard to actually avoid. And some people, they live on dates. Like, this is what they eat every day. فهذا يقول التابع تابع. Now, because it follows, it's not by itself. That we could apply to what today? Oh, so the sister's not here today. Oh, what's her name? Sister, she's not. Gelatin in cheese, enzyme in meat, enzyme in cheese. Same ruling. Enzyme, even if it's a pork enzyme, by itself, you're not allowed to eat. Now, إذا دخلت في الجبن, if it's added to cheese, طبعا they don't add enzyme as 10% of that. It's 0.001 or something like that. Now, this enzyme added to the cheese follows what? The cheese. It's no longer by itself. If it's by itself, it's haram consensus. Somebody told you, this is a piece of pork, I cooked it well for you. You will say what? No. But this is enzyme that is taken, even if it's affirmed that is taken as a percentage, and they do a very small percentage. The Sahaba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to eat the cheese that is done by the Majus, and the Majus are the worshippers of fire. And their maita is haram for us to eat. Even if they slaughter, it's haram for us to eat worshippers of fire's meat. It's haram. Majus you can't eat their meat. Only Christians and Jews, you could eat their meat. So Rasulullah, and it had a smell too. The cheese had smell. That means they were adding some substance into it. The Sahaba, they ate it. Why did they eat it? Because if it's by itself, whatever they added, the substance by itself might be what? Haram or not permissible. Now when it's added with a small shay yasir, you have to be very careful. Enzyme in cheese is look at it will be 0.000001. But there is, they say enzyme there. We don't know which enzyme is it. Is it meat? Is it beef? Is it okay? Now they say at-tabi'u tabi'a. It takes the presence or the ruling of what it follows. So if it's cheese, are we allowed to eat cheese or not? Yes, then you're allowed to eat that. Now chips, those chips that has enzyme, same ruling, the same ruling. That's why we're not supposed to do it. We're not supposed to investigate. Seriously, we're not. We're not supposed to call I told you about the sister, mashallah, we had. No, we're not supposed to get every bag of chips or candy and call the company the 800 number and wait for them to send us a confirmation after 10 years, and then they tell you, sorry, we don't know what is it at the end. They don't know. They really don't know much. So it's very hard to prevent or to avoid, and it could follow that rule that it's permissible, or a tabi'u is permissible because it is by itself. Okay, that's what it means. That's what rule means. Yes. الحاجة اللي added or it's already inside. يعني التابع مثلا a she camel. خلاص؟ ناقة has a baby, pregnant. You want to sell the camel. هذا خلقت جوا. هل التابع تابع هنا؟ نقول لا، في البيع هنا we have to define that you could sell the she camel if it's pregnant, you could sell it with a full price, but not sell what's inside of it, because what's inside is not known. فهم يتكلمون عن الخلق في الأصل أو الزائد، يعني إذا تبع الشيء. فمثلا الانزيم if it's made from pork, let's just say if it's taken enzyme with a percentage, If it's outside of cheese by itself, نقول إيش؟ حرام. If it's added تتبع ما دخلت فيه. It follows what it's added to. Same thing with gelatin, same thing with هذه. Plus, ها؟ بالضبط. يتبع نفس Okay? I know to some people they might not like that, but we're talking about قواعد now. يعني النسبة ضئيلة جدا. The percentage is so small. There's some drinks that they add even percentage of alcohol to it. Very small percentage. That percentage does not cause any effect. Plus there's transformation. We also have to consider that. There is transformation. Transformation اللي هو التغير اللي طرأ عليها. It's no longer the alcohol that you drink to become drunk. But if you take that alcohol out somehow and you're able to purify it out by itself, even if it's one sip, one cup, one whatever, one drop, then it's what? Haram. Now when it's added, it follows what is added to, plus there's transformation. الترانسفورميشن هذا اللي هو الايه؟ الإحالة. حالة الشيء. It changed, transformed into a different thing right now. It's no longer wine, it's no longer alcohol. Is that clear now? Anything as well? Yeah. Same rule. The what? Same rule. طيب, there's a rule related to that inshallah. يقولون من ملك شيئا ملك ما هو من ضروراته تبعا لهذه القاعدة. Whoever owns something, then he owns what it comes with it. يتتبع. مثلا when you own a building, okay, you go and buy a building. This building is yours. So what is it that you really own? I know you guys are not going to own a building in your life. You will, inshallah, one day when you become rich, inshallah. Just give me a flat there. Okay, when you own a building, what do you own in a building? The entire building and everything is above it. So if you want to go 20 floors, nobody is going to say, you can go higher than... Why? Come on, permits is the city permit. I'm not going to... Nobody could tell you how high or... How, and then you own also what? The land that comes with it. Okay, is that clear now? الهواء والأرض هذا تبع لك. Somebody sells you a flat, مثلا an apartment, and he tells you you're not allowed to touch the windows or the doors. Why? التابع تابع. Whatever I buy, it's all mine. You buy a car. What do you own when you buy a car? Everything about this car. So nobody could tell you, oh, you're allowed to do everything, but don't use the trunk. Like, what do you mean don't use the trunk? The trunk is mine because everything that comes with it comes. This is very. In Egypt, for example, we have something called share of ownership. Share of ownership is when you go buy a flat or an apartment in a building, and let's say 10 floors, مثلا, okay, 10 floors. You bought one floor, so the owner of the land will tell you the share of the land is divided among all 10 of you. So you share 1 of 10 of the land. Like, what if he says, I'm selling you the flat, but not the land? Is that allowed? Yes. In that case, yes. Because your share is only the apartment that you buy, not the land. So if this building falls, okay, he could say, give me my land back. You have nothing and you get no problem. But if he tells you, I'm selling you the entire piece of building, the whole building, and you get a share in the land, then the land is your share. So if anything goes wrong, let's say they decided all 10 people to sell this building and go buy somewhere else. Now, when they sell the building, $10,000, you get your share of 1 out of 10. ماشي اللي هم بيسموها الايه؟ اتحاد الملاك وهذه these rulings. تمام؟ طيب, I don't want to go deep into that one, but let's move on inshallah with the next one. والله أنا كان بدي أروح أجيب الكوك الآن. ما شاء الله. تسلم. طيب, والعرف, let's take number 28 because this one we will use it more in our life. والعرف, and this is the day today. والعرف معمول به إذا ورد حكم من الشرع الشريف لم يحد. يقول والعرف, هذا بيسموه العلماء العادة محكمة. Okay, العادة محكمة means that the custom is a source of law. العرف محكم. When يقول العرف معمول به إذا ورد. Now, we use the عرف when it comes to a specified ruling. إذا ورد حكم من الشرع الشريف لم يحد. Let's say, for example, that there is a ruling in Islam that there is no, it's not specified. يعني it's not specified by a specific wording. Like أضحية مثلا. Is أضحية specified or no? What is أضحية? Slaughter of. Now, if the Shara, if the Deen doesn't say anything about it, then we go with the urf, we go with the custom. So anything we could slaughter for udhiyah. But we have the legislative ruling which says what? The three categories that you could slaughter in udhiyah, which are what? Cattle or camels and camels, cows or cattle, and sheep, اللي هو الgoats والlambs, all of that. خلاص كده? So that's specified, okay, in the يقولون العرف باللغة. There's sometimes the language gets involved. So if people are using different language to describe certain things, then we have to follow that. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam says, قال ابن عباس, Rasulullah sallam used to gather between the two Isha, Maghrib and Isha, okay, fil matar, in rain. Now, the question is, the two Maghrib in rain, can we also do Asr and Dhuhr? We could do analogy, but the problem here is what? We have to define what rain is. So did Islam, did the legislation, the ruling, says rain is this or that? No. So we have to go by the custom, meaning what people are used to. So when we look into the Arabic language and how people use the word matar or tal or other wording, we know that each one of them means something. So we want the word matar, rain. How do the Arab use the word rain? That's what we mean. The custom is defined if the person doesn't have specified ruling on it. But ما هو المطر? What is matar? What is rain? Anybody know? The Hanafi brothers should know this well. No, I mean, they should know it well. Urf, we have to look at the urf. Rain. The word matar in the hadith is water that wets your clothes entirely. Yani if I have this on, if I take it off and put it on the ground, and then there's like sparkling water from the sky, or the small rain, or there is little drops. The drops that comes down, we have to look at the thobe. If it all got wet, that's rain. If part of it got wet only, there's little drops here and there, that's not rain. So when do we combine salah then? Then combining salah when the thobe or the cloth does what? Gets wet, because we're going to call that as rain. That's what is called rain. So sometimes we do that. We come for dhuhr salah, sometime winter time. There's like little drops here and there. It's not really rain. And everybody's like, oh, bismillah, let's do jam'a. Well, but that's not rain. Yeah, but it's raining. Yeah, we call it raining now, but it's not raining. Okay? So al-urf comes in. The custom defines and solves a lot of issues. Ibn Abbas was asked about a dam and najis. How much is it? How much of blood that we could consider impure, yani for wudu and for impurity of clothes? He said, what you consider fahish, depend. So a lot of people will tell you it's like a size of a coin, more than that. It's what you consider as much. When we say, for example, there is a hadith of Hind radiallahu anha wardaha. She was married to Abu Sufyan, and Abu Sufyan was a little, let's just say, to use a better word, he wouldn't spend much, let's say this way, because he's a Sahabi later on. Okay, so she came to Rasulullah. She said, Ya Rasulullah, can I take from his money? Sisters, is that allowed or no? Of course, yeah. They're all like, no doubt. They're like, yeah. open the wallet and take everything in there, or use the credit card, $10,000. What did Rasul ﷺ tell her? He said, "Khudi, take what is enough for you and your children, bil ma'roof." Here, bil ma'roof means what? Al-urf, what is people know. So if your husband has $10,000 in the wallet, for some reason he's carrying that, what is known to be the spending of a month here? A woman needs how much to spend on her house, مثلا. Say مثلا 1,000, okay? She cannot take 2,000. If her house needs 2,000, she cannot take 5,000. You understand? So she takes what's known to be enough. So somebody will say, what is enough? The custom here defines it. What do people are used to? And this is not a call for sisters to steal from their husband. That's not called stealing. إنما الطاعة بالمعروف. Okay? So, now. They go to a judge. They go to a judge, and the judge of like a court, the court system will say, مثلا when it comes to divorce, they follow the urf. How? When somebody divorces his wife, how much should they pay them a month? That's based upon the urf, what is known, or based upon his income, for example. If someone's income is $2,000, he cannot pay her $2,000. No way. But if someone's income is $10,000, then he has to give his wife $3,000-$4,000 a month, spend on her if he divorced her. Now, if they get divorced and his income is $3,000, then the court is going to drop it to $1,000, and so on and so forth. So based upon that, what do people know as urf or عادة? طبعا العادة is more general. عادة is like a tradition. That's the statement that, like I'll give you example مثلا. No.
What about like if someone dies and the girl takes the jewelry of her mother? Like if that's like agreed upon.
No, you can't, because that contradicts the legislation. لأنه العرف لابد إنه لا يخالف الشرع. Customs cannot contradict religion. So if the urf, the person dies and his daughter takes the gold, or her daughter takes the gold, that's haram. This gold has to be, it's inheritance. And even if she put a wasiyya, لا وصية لوارث, you cannot give an inheritance, you cannot give a wasiyya well to a person who inherit. فهذا العرف لا يكون حرام. لو تعارفنا مثلا, if everybody says in Davis we're going to drink alcohol, can we say this is a custom? I would say this custom contradicts the religion. If it does contradict, يبقى لا عرف. العادة هنا ليست محكمة. If she wants to give her gold, she has to give her gold when she is alive and healthy. Okay, to her daughter, and she says, "ملكتك هذا. This is yours, and this is, you have full ownership of it." Ownership, because we have in Egypt another problem. A woman doesn't want to give her other daughters gold, so she gives her oldest daughter the gold, and she tells her, "Keep this with you. And if I die, of course, it's yours." In reality, when she's alive, if this daughter wants to sell some of that gold, the mother is going to say no. So that's not ownership. When you give it to her, you have to give it to her with what? Full ownership. So if this daughter, let's say, مثلا, she needs to buy a car, can she sell the gold? Yeah. If a mother has $10,000 gold, she wants to give it to one of the daughters and not the other two, مثلا. Then she gives her daughter, she said, "Here is the gold for you. So now it's going to be yours now and when I die. So the other two don't get anything." She can do that. But we say the condition is what? That this daughter has to have full ownership. Meaning what? If she wants to sell it, she could sell it. If she wants to gift it, she could gift it. If she wants to give her other sister, she has the right. Now if the mother comes and says, "You cannot sell it," that's not full ownership. That's playing around with the deen. So that's haram. So understand the difference? مفهوم هذا ولا؟ Yeah, you understand or no?
No.
Yeah? Okay. No.
Is it the same for a father giving a piece of land or a property to one of the child? Is it the same that they...
In his life?
In his life.
Yes. Yeah. But being fair or unfair, that's a different story. It's between him and Allah. But if he gives his son this piece of land and not the other two or three, this is not fair for whatever reason. Okay? But this son, is it his land? Of course. He could do whatever he wants with it. فإت's his. ماشي؟ الله عز وجل يقول خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to take the urf of the people and consider that يحكم يعني consider that مثلا in your country do they consider fish to be meat or no? So if somebody says I bought some meat from the market, can they mean also fish included? No? Okay, then this is not a aada or al-urf. If somebody swear by Allah that he's not going to eat meat, that doesn't include what? Fish. لأنه the meat in our country العرف إنه ليس لحم. Allah عز وجل يقول لحما طريا. Allah called it lahm, meat. So if your country is used to using the word meat to refer to fish too, okay, they tell you, oh, you want to know, there's a good meat market. You go there, you find what? You find meat, fish, other things. So that means that they use the word meat to refer to fish. So if somebody said, I will never eat meat, that will include fish. Based upon what? The customs, the عادة. فالعادة محكمة. Is that clear now? No. And so many things that this rule, subhanAllah, goes into it. Okay. طبعا there's different أعراف here. عرف عام, عرف خاص. يعني as long as the custom does not contradict the ijma' or the consensus or the deen, then you're allowed to follow, and then we have to follow that. So if you have a bike in Davis, we have biking here. If it's known that we use certain terminology to refer to giving you my bike as a gift, let's just say, I don't know what word can we use. What's a good word to use? مثلا you say what? Like in Egypt, there's a lot of these. I know that even the bus stops in Egypt and certain places, they have أعراف. العرف هنا means يعني مثلا you want to travel from Davis to Woodland, okay? So Woodland will be Woodland. I don't know. Some dimension. So you get into the bus takes you to Dixon. هذا عرف. ما هو people know that this sign here means what? Woodland. So if you went against the sign, you're going against the urf. So the urf of the people has to be respected and followed as long as it doesn't contradict what? The Sharia. So if everybody agrees that interest is halal, خلاص. Sorry guys, Davis, no more. Everybody in Davis says interest is halal. Can we consider that as custom? Urf? Why not? It contradicts the clear, defined Sharia, so we don't even consider it to be urf. Now you go married to someone, this is very important in marriage. Okay, you go married to someone, al-urf plays a role. How much jewelry can I buy her? Not Egypt, don't go married in Egypt. Egypt is crazy when it comes to that. For a guy to get married, he has to be in his 40s, 50s, mashallah. Yeah, because you have to own a house or a flat. You have to buy her $20,000 of gold, and then you have to do a wedding, which is another $20,000. That's urf. That's the urf. So how much gold should I offer based upon the urf? Like if the urf is not known, based upon the closest marriage in her family. So you wanna, if her cousin Muslim got married and someone bought her $10,000 gold, her other got married $10,000, then the urf is what? 10,000. You cannot come say, Taqullah, guys, this is haram. Don't marry from this family. Go marry from other family, because this is the urf. This is the known custom that is agreed upon to defend. So as long as the urf does not contradict, as long as the custom does not contradict the legislation or the Sharia, then it is considered and it should be used and respected. Okay. طيب. Next, Bismillah. ومن مسائل what is it? معاجل المحذور قبل أوانه المحظور قبل أوانه قد باء بالخسران مع حرمانه. This قاعدة is very so far the custom is considered in the legislative ruling. That's one of the 5 main qawa'id. Do you remember the first one was what? Intention. All actions are by intention. Number 2 was benefits and harms, scale of benefit and harm. Number 3, hardship brings ease. Number 4, certainty cannot be removed by doubts. Number 5, the custom is a source of the legislation rule. These are the 5 main qawa'id. We're done. These are the 5 that they agree. All the scholars agree upon this one. Okay. The rest that is coming is all branched of those ones now. So he said here, وَعَاجِلُ مُعَاجِلُ الْمَحْظُورِ. So he said, whoever hastens something before its time, okay, then he is punished by what? By the hirman, to be prevented from. So what does that mean? This actually, subhanAllah, this qa'idah is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set it upon us as reality in life. If you try to get something, you hasten to get something through the haram means, the punishment will be that it will be prevented. مثلا, and this is the case طبعا in dunya and akhirah. Okay, مثلا if you drink alcohol in this life, the punishment in akhirah is what? You'll be prevented from drinking wine of Jannah. من عاجل بشيء من المحظور. If a person طبعا there's a beautiful statement of the Imam. Where's the paper I have in my hand? If a person من استعجل شيئا قبل أوانه عوقب بحرمانه. This is the fundamental. من استعجل شيئا قبل أوانه. Whoever hastens with something before its time عوقب بحرمانه. Okay, الأمور بمقاصدها. This is under the rule that you gain the matters by, or the means leads to the. Remember we talked about this. The means leads to the objectives. Yeah. So if somebody kills his father or his mother to inherit, what did they do here? They hasten to get the money by what? By killing, which is haram, forbidden. So if a person tries to get something that is forbidden upon him to get, and he hastens to get it through forbidden means, he will be prevented from it in this dunya and akhirah. That's what it means. So what's the ruling if someone kills his father? They don't inherit. Even some of our scholars, they said, even if it's by mistake. Why? And if someone intentionally, مثلا his father is a millionaire. He knows, and he's the only son. He knows if his father dies, he will be a millionaire. But the only way for him to be a millionaire is to do what? His father died, because that's a condition. The only way to inherit is the death of the person, a firm death. So what does he do? He goes and he kills his father to inherit. Our religion does what? Prevents him. The punishment is he's prevented from inheritance. Now some scholars says even if it's by mistake, yes, because even by mistake, because it will open up the door. Somebody's gonna go, oh, I killed him by mistake, I'm sorry. So even to block the means of that, some of the scholars says even if the killing is by mistake, this person should be prevented from inheritance. Okay, so whoever hasten by something in this life, or to gain something in this life before its time, then this person will be prevented from it. So remember what we said last time? I don't know if you remember that. I told you about someone who divorced his wife when he's sick. What did we say? What did he want to do? What did he want to do? He wanted to prevent her from inheritance. He knows he's gonna die. He's very sick. He's on deathbed. Okay, let's say he's even married to 2 more, or he has a mother or has a sister or a brother or something, and he doesn't want this wife to inherit. So what does he do? He divorces her. Now, the religion says he tried to hasten what? Haram. He tried to prevent her from inheritance. So the punishment is what? That he is prevented from what he did. So the divorce doesn't fall. So that's why Rasulullah ﷺ said, do not do, because when you hasten with the haram, you might get it. You might get, it's a faster way. But faster way to what? You understand the point here? No. كل انواع القتل ايش؟ ايه الا الاب لابنه. مش هذا حكم ثاني، بس حكم ثاني خالص. كيف القتل بحق يعني؟
في قضيه مشهوره كده انه قتل اخوه عشان شافه قاتل مع
ماشي بس هذا ماشي انا بتكلم فيها بقى، هذه قصه ثانيه. The Jews, when the Yahud, what happened to them? This qaida actually fall on them, and it explains. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbid fishing for them on Saturday, what did they do? They did the blocking on Friday and they collected the fish on Sunday. So what did they do here? They hastened to get to the haram through means. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them by preventing them from using the fish that they got. They benefited because they tried to hasten something haram through a means. In all our life is like that. That's why we shouldn't get something from the haram means, because it is going to be a punishment in this life to be prevented from it, or to punish in, like alcohol, as we said, wine. If someone wants to drink wine so much and they drink wine, they are prevented from drinking in the day of judgment. Someone مثلا المحلل قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لعن الله المحلل والمحلل والشاهد. May Allah curse a person who does. يحلل means, you know, the case if a person divorced his wife three times, fully divorced, how could he remarry her? She has to marry willingly someone else, and they have to have full consummation among them, okay, full willingly, without an intention of divorce. And that second person that she marries, what happened to him? He either dies or divorces her. Now in that case, she could go back to her first husband. So a lot of people, they play with this rule. What do? When they divorce three times, they bring someone to marry their wife. And then after they marry, he tells them, I'll pay you 10,000. You marry my wife for 1 day, or his wife, not mine. You marry his wife for 1 day. And then, okay, and then the second day you divorce her. The Prophet ﷺ, he cursed the one who does that and the person who gets married. Both are cursed. And they're witness for this contract. Why? This person is trying to hasten with the haram to get his wife back through haram mean. So the punishment is what? It's still haram. She's still forbidden for him to marry. So anyone who tries to get, subhanAllah, this actually happened to an older woman. She told me her story, rahimahullah, she died. She said she was married, she was 18 years old, and she got married to a man who's in his 50s. Of our time, it's a big gap. I'm not talking about Rasulullah's time, we're talking about our time. So when she got married, life was very complicated, big age difference, and she doesn't know him and things like that. So he divorced her 3 times, fights and so on. And then he brought her a 21-year-old guy, very poor in their city, and he told him, I'll give you 20,000, you marry her for 1 night, okay? And tomorrow morning you divorce her. It's full marriage, witness, wedding, everything, but tomorrow you're gonna force her. I said, okay. They got married, they went home together. Wallahi, she told me the story herself. When they got home together, mashallah, 20-year-old, 18-year-old, they got along well, okay? They're talking, laughing that night. So this one night went very well. The guy came second day, he's knocking on the door. Nobody opened the door for him. Okay, knock, nothing happened. He left. He came back Maghrib time. No one opened for the door. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Maybe a week or so. The guy opened up. He said, yes. He said, where are you guys at? We were doing our honeymoon. What do you mean honeymoon? We already agreed that you... He's like, I'm sorry, I went back. We like each other now and we're not gonna... So the guy's like, what do you mean you're not going to do it? I didn't hire you for that. Your job was to get married and divorce so she could be what? My wife again. And he's like, Allah, I'm not going to divorce. And she said they went on fighting and talking, and he went to that. So when they went to the Shaykh says that you both are cursed. The man and the one who got married, the muhallil wal muhallal, both are haram. So he told him, if you want to fix this contract, let's do it again with an intention of marriage. And he did it. And she said, we lived together for 30 years, happily ever after. The other guy, good luck. So what happened to him? He got prevented from what? From the halal, because he took it through the haram. So if you try to earn halal income through haram means, you could be prevented from the halal because of the means of the haram. That's what it means. On the other hand, when you give up the haram for the sake of Allah, Allah will do what to you? He will reward you of the halal and the best of blessing. Like there's a beautiful story in Egypt. I'll tell you 2 stories about that, because this is what we need to focus on. Try your best to please Allah and to earn the halal. And whenever you give up something for Allah, know for sure that Allah would give you better than what you have giving up, if not even more. This person in Egypt, he was a student of a Shaykh. He's going home 2 days without food. He was very poor. So he's crossing by a house. In the old days, mashallah, houses in the villages were open. So he smelled, I don't know if you guys know the Maxim, grapes, stuffing grapes, you know, the Egyptian, like dolma, same. So he smelled, it was so he opened the door and he found a big plate, mashallah, and you know how they put it on the top of each other, it looks so good. So he took one and he ate it, okay, and then he's like, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, this is haram. So he threw it outside and he left. He got to the masjid, the Shaykh saw him. The Shaykh said, where have you been? He said, Wallahi, I was looking for a job because I don't have anything to offer. And I haven't even eaten for 2 days. He's like, you're not married? He's like, how could I even afford marriage? He said, Wallahi, there is an orphan girl in our village and her mother wants someone religious for her. And they were talking to me, let's go and talk to them. So the guy said, when we went, we found the same house. Okay, he got there anyway. The story went very quickly, mashallah. They got married and everything. Allah, same day. Khalas, everything. The Shaykh told him, don't worry about it. That days it was easy. Nowadays, 20 years to get married. Okay. He said that night we got there, our wedding night, her mother brought the dolma, the big mahshi plate. And she said, so as soon as they placed it in front of me, he said, I started laughing. And they were like, what's wrong? You don't like? He's like, no, you don't know the story behind this. You know that this morning I ate one. She said, oh, it was you. I thought it was a cat because we know one is missing. But the Shaykh told him, he said, فعلا, من ترك شيئا لله. What's the hadith? Whoever leaves something for Allah, عوضه الله خيرا منه. Allah will give him better than it. There's a very famous scholar, he went to Mecca. So he took a ship to Mecca, and when he got there, he subhanallah, he went to Mecca, he got there, he did Hajj, then he lost all his money. So he waited to go back, he found the ship going back to his country, so he got the ship, something happened, so he got lost in the middle of nowhere. He found himself in a city. So when he got to the city, he told the people there, they were like, what are you doing here? He's like, I want to go back to my country. He said, where's your country? He said, so and so. They said, oh, mashallah, that's like a month travel. So you have to wait till a ship comes and then you could drive. He's like, ship comes every what? They say every 3 months, 6 months, Allah, based upon the transaction business. I'm going to live here. So he said at the masjid, they came in, they found him sitting down reading Quran. So they told him, so when he was in Mecca, when he got lost in Mecca and he lost his money, he found a necklace, gold necklace. So he kept it with him. It was very expensive. And he went on for 1 week without food. He was just drinking Zamzam. So he said when he found the necklace, he wanted to go. He waited, nobody came. So he wanted to sell it. But then he said, it's haram because that's you cannot pick up the luqata. You cannot pick up anything from Mecca even if you find it. So he said, when I found it, I asked people if anyone lost anything. So a man came And he said, yes, I lost the necklace, and he described it, so I gave it to him, and he didn't want to take an exchange. He said, it's for Allah. Wallahi. And of course, he could have gotten something from it too, but he gave it out for Allah. And somebody else could be like, come on, man, this is $1 million. Who cares? Keep it with me. So he said, Man taraka shay'an, whoever leaves something for Allah, Allah will give him better than what he left. So he said, anyway, the story went on, and he passed. When he got to that city, they told him, they said, do you know how to read and write? He said, yeah. He said, can you teach our kids Quran while you're staying here, and we'll pay you like a salary? He said, oh, of course. He started teaching them, and he spent about 6 months with them. They liked him so much, so they wanted to keep him. They knew he was a great scholar. So they told him, how about we get you married? Because of course, if he gets married, most likely he's gonna stay. So they told him, we have a girl here, she's orphan, her father passed away, and he was the Imam before you. So he went to the house to see her uncle and to talk to her, propose to the uncle. So while he's sitting down, she came in for him to see. So when she came in, she was wearing the necklace that he found in Mecca. So he kept looking at it. So the girl said, I'm not gonna marry him. Because he was supposed to do what? Lower his gaze. And so if he's looking at my necklace, that means he wants money. He's looking after what I have. So he said, why wouldn't you marry him? She said, uncle, this guy is not good. He was looking at my necklace like he really wanted it. So they asked him, she said, no, because of this. He said, subhanallah, you guys don't know the story. This necklace I found in Mecca. And I had it, and wallahi, I was in a desperate need of getting any money to eat. But I said, whoever leaves something for Allah, Allah will provide him better than what he have giving up for Allah. So I gave it to the owner. Her uncle said, wallahi, you're gonna marry her. Do you know why? He said, why? He said, because her father, when he came back, he was telling us the story, and her father said, wallahi, if I ever meet that person again, I would marry him to my daughter. So he got married to her. Okay? She died few months after their marriage, and he inherited her. And what did he inherit? The necklace. Subhanallah. So when he left it first for Allah, look how it's all planned. When he first left it for Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded him. He got what he left. It's just a matter. So when people are seeking the haram, whatever is forbidden, through the halal, leaves the halal for the haram, they will be prevented from it in this dunya, and people go into business full of interest. They lose. Okay? People they open up liquor store, they get shot inside the liquor store. Why? Because they're hastening to get that provision of Allah through the haram means. That's what it means by saying that. طيب. Next, inshallah, Bismillah, because we're going to finish. قال وإن أتى التحريم في نفس العمل أو شرطه فذو فساد وخلل. If anything that is haram in the action itself, okay, but this is actually not a قاعدة فقهية. This is a قاعدة أصولية. This is a fundamental of usul fiqh, not قواعد الفقهية. He said, if something is haram in itself, specification of haram, like what is considered to be haram? What is haram? Tell me something that is haram. Give me an example. Huh? Interest, usury. Alcohol. What did you say? Oh, murder is haram. Yeah. Yeah, but in ibadat, if someone prayed to other than the qibla, the action itself is what? Because of that condition itself. So either the action itself is haram, or one of the condition is not permissible, or it's haram or corrupted, then the entire action is corrupted. Someone prayed without tahara. Tahara, purification is what? Condition of salah. Yeah. Someone prayed without tahara. His salah is invalid. Okay. So they say any action that you do not fulfill the condition of the action, then the action is invalid. لأنه التحريم على أصل العمل due to itself. Okay. يعني مثلا wearing silk, halal or haram for men? Huh? Haram. Wearing gold, haram, correct? طيب. Praying in clothes that is made from silk. Is it a condition? Is it a condition to not wear silk in salah? No. So we will say his salah is valid and wearing silk is haram, sin. Why? Because wearing silk is not connected to the salah. It's not a condition, it's not a pillar of salah, it's not so in itself is not haram. The action itself could be valid, but it's still valid. He's still sinning, it's haram. And مثلا طبعا they talk about الأرض المغصوبة. We don't have that very often. If somebody by force took a land of someone by force, okay, it's haram, correct? Can he praise in it? So praying in it is valid, but the land is haram. Understand? So some things, there are some condition that makes the action itself haram because due to the action itself. Others are conditions that are connected to it or related to it. So we have to differentiate between them. Every condition of an action, if it doesn't exist, then the action is invalid. They call it invalid. Except in Hajj and marriage, they differentiate between invalid and incorrect. So let me ask you that and we'll end with it inshallah, because the laptop will die right now. What is the difference between invalid Hajj and incorrect Hajj? طيب, if somebody prayed without wudu, his salah is what? Invalid. Can we say his salah is incorrect? Yeah. Same meaning. If you say, if somebody ate food in Ramadan intentionally, their fasting is invalid or incorrect. Same meaning. خلاص? If somebody did not wash his face on purpose in wudu, his wudu is invalid or incorrect. Both are fine. When it comes to marriage and Hajj, be careful because they use the word differently. So let's go with which one you're gonna go first, marriage or Hajj? Marriage for sure, of course. Well, which one comes first in your life? Let's go with Hajj first. Okay. When is Hajj considered to be invalid and when is Hajj considered to be incorrect? Okay. Correct but incorrect. Correct but incorrect. A Hajj that is invalid. The invalid means you have to stop it and you cannot continue only if a person leaves Islam. يرتد. هذا الحج يسمى فاسد. Okay? But if a person does one of the محظورات of Hajj, one of the not permissible act of Hajj to do during Hajj, before he is free from the ihram, and you are free from the ihram with three things. Yeah, you know, anybody been to Hajj? What do? You throw the stones, you shave your head, you do tawaf. If you do 2 out of 3, then you're free. Okay, except sexual intercourse. All right. So if a person does anything, let's say if a person مثلا does anything before he is free, his Hajj is what? Incorrect. But he continues his Hajj and then he does Hajj again, or he also sacrifice. When is Hajj considered invalid? If a person leaves Islam. خلاص, circle of Islam. When is marriage invalid and incorrect? When can we say this marriage is invalid? When can we say that this marriage is incorrect? So if something wrong with the contract, we're gonna call it what? Incorrect. What could be wrong with the contract? There's no witness, for example. There's no wali. Okay, so their marriage is incorrect, not invalid. The only time that the marriage is invalid is marriage is incorrect if there's difference of opinion among the scholars on something. Like some says wali is a must, some says no. So that's incorrect, Hajj, marriage. But if a person marries his mother, their marriage is what? I know, not his mother in breastfeeding. If a woman breastfed a child, okay, if a woman breastfed a child, she was 20 years old, 18 years old, she got married, she has a baby, she breastfed a baby with a baby, or not her baby. This baby now, who was 2 years old, is now 20 years old, she's 40 years old. They decided to get married. Can they marry? Yes, why not? Yeah, they could get married. But now, because she breastfed him, he became what? Haram for her. What if they didn't figure out till later, after they got married? Can we just say, khalas, let them live together? What can we do? No, the marriage is invalid. Invalid means what? They must stop and they cannot continue. Now, what if the girl married without a guardian? How could they fix it? They just bring the guardian or his approval and they fix the marriage and they continue life together. So we don't have to separate them, okay, and tell them you have to be separated and then what? We could fix it within that. So any action that the condition is invalid or incorrect, in all cases, if the condition, you must fulfill the conditions. You must fulfill all the conditions. What are the conditions of salah, for example? Tahara, purification, facing the qibla, entering of time, condition comes before the action. Covering the awrah. These are the conditions, okay? If one of these conditions is missing, the action is invalid. So if one of the condition, a person prayed and then in the middle of salah, his awrah is shown. Salah is invalid because the condition continues on. A person have wudu, in the third rak'ah, they lose their wudu. Their salah is invalid. And especially brothers, they have big problem with covering the awrah in salah. And I keep advising people to be careful of that. At least wear a thobe over, duck your t-shirt into your pants. Because if your awrah is showing in salah, that's a problem. Your entire salah is invalid. You have to be careful, okay? So the conditions has to be fulfilled. Facing the qibla throughout the entire salah, yani you have to face the qibla throughout the entire salah. Of course, we're talking about obligatory salah, not sunnah. Because sunnah salah, you could do what? You could face the qibla and then start your prayers, okay? And then, khalas, if you miss the qibla, like say, you're driving somewhere and you want to pray sunnah in the morning and someone is, not you driving, not you. You're driving, you'll be dead by the end of the first rak'ah. But someone else is driving, you're sitting next to them. You just have to start facing the qibla. When they start driving, you could continue on. They're not going to drive toward the qibla for sure. And the evidence for that is what? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to pray his sunnah on his camel. Don't tell me that the camel was so smart that it was facing the qibla the entire time. No way, it's impossible. Or people who are on the ship, they just have to face the face of the qibla as much as they can, not directly to the qibla. So if they are on the ship and they're not able to, between east and west, it depends on them. Yes. Sunnah only. I'm talking about sunnah. Safina, there's a different rule. He's not able to. I'm talking about sunnah. Yeah, let's not mention that. If you're doing track and you want to pray sunnah when you're doing track, can you do that? Oh, if you do analogy on maybe after the life we could talk about that. If you're doing track and isn't it the same as riding a camel? Track. You're running track. Yeah, but the Prophet ﷺ was moving. He was, in a sense. Actually, I can have an analogy about it. He'll stop for ruku' and he'll stop for sujood and he'll continue. If he starts, ممكن نعملها analogy, ممكن نخرجها والله. I'm not joking. It's not I'm serious. But in a car, مثلا, in a car, if you're driving with someone, okay, and you really want to pray 2 rak'ah sunnah while the person is driving, all you have to do is what? Start by facing the qibla and then move on. When he drives, khalas. After driving is fine. But you have to start what? You start facing the qibla. This is important. You start facing the qibla, then you move on. Khalas. On a plane is different. The plane is, you try your best to look for the qibla. And that's why Saudi Airlines and other, they have the qibla, and Turkish Airlines, they would show you the qibla. Accuracy, close to accuracy. You don't have to face the qibla directly. It's accuracy. But if there's a plane where you don't know the qibla, try your best. If you can't, then you pray in anyhow. We're talking about if you are able to face the qibla in a sunnah prayers, you don't have to face it the entire sunnah prayers. Okay? But there are a few things that you have to. There are a few things that you have to keep. And I'll open up to the question.